Greetings, this is Jim Lindsay. This is a CIS 320 video, and in this video I'm going to be talking to you about how to make maps. And this is an example of the kind of map that I would like for you to be able to make. And this is very much what you're going to see from an assignment. This is the kind of thing I think you will employ Visio to do in your working careers. If you choose to use Visio, man, this is a great way to take this product, take this program, and create a drawing that you can then use for your company, to tell people where you are, to promote your business, your services, etc. So let's take a look at how would you do this. And so again, this is just a screenshot, and this is probably going to jump on me as I resize here. I'm going to give you a screenshot that looks something like this, saying like, hey, make this. And so how would you do that? Do you need to draw Washington State and Oregon? No, of course not. I have state shapes, which I showed you back in chapter 1. I showed you how to put your own stencils into your Visio installation. But I'll even give you a drawing that has the big pink shape and then like the states themselves, and then you have to create the rest of it. So how would you do that? Well, let's take a look at what your starting point would be. Normally if you wanted to do this from scratch, you would just start Visio and then insert the shapes for those states. But just in case you're in a place where you can't install your own stencils, you're going to get a file that looks like this. And this is a Visio drawing. It looks really tiny, and it is. If you zoom in here, you'll see that this is the state of Washington. It's the state of Oregon. And if we take this shapes pane and make it wider, you'll see that the category for this drawing was a map. And when you make a drawing that's a map category, you get these stencils. You get recreation shapes, transportation shapes, road shapes, and so on. So we're going to use these to create this map that you see right there. How do you do that? Well, let's start from the beginning and work our way through it. And just to make this give us more real estate, I'm going to take the shapes pane and get it out of the way for right now. The first thing you do is you take these two states and make them match up. And how do you do that? It's pretty easy. You have to take this one and move it up underneath this other one. Now, we know that this is a very, very small picture, right? Because when I showed you the wide view, we were at 1000% magnification here. When we go to the whole page, you can't even see those guys. That's okay. Initially, all you have to do is just basically get these two guys where they're just about right. They don't have to match up just yet. What I would do at this point is take these two things and group them. And you learned how to do that in the last lesson. You take the shapes that you want to join. In this case, the Washington and the Oregon states. You go to group and you group those guys. And now that's going to be treated as one single thing. And because it's one single thing, we can take it and we can make it bigger proportionally. And you learned how to do that in a previous lesson as well. When you want to proportionally enlarge something, you go to the middle sizing handle, you hold down the shift button, and then you start to make it bigger. And so just get out here to page size, take this shape right here. This is some text. I don't need the text right now. I'm going to take this and use that in just a moment, but right now I just want to get these states to where they're big, so I can start to work with. Perfect. So they're on my page. Now they're not meshed up exactly. Let me ungroup them now, and let me go back, zoom back in here a little bit some more. Again, I'm zooming using Control and Shift, and then using my left click. But now with this one, now that they're bigger, it's easier to get these borders to match up really well, and that looks great. So then all I have to do is regroup them, take the two shapes and group, and they look good. You'll see from the example that I gave, the states were yellow, right? That's a fill color, F-I-L-L, a fill color. And to change the fill color of something, you just go to you have them selected, go to the fill, and you make them the right color. Now the background in our example is pink, right? So what we need to do is take this rectangle right here, let's place that behind our states, and make that a little bit skinnier so it's at the margins there of the page, and we'll make that a pink background, sort of a rose color like it has in the example. Good enough. And then we see that there's some text on the page, and then we get our road shapes. And so we'll just do a real short title and then this text right here. I'm going to take my states and actually move them down because the title and the text is going to occupy this space up here, right? How do you get text onto a page? Well, you learned that previously from chapter 1 or 2 lesson. You've got the text button. Just click on the screen there, and actually what it wanted to do, it's trying to label that big pink rectangle, and I don't need that. So I'm going to go back to my pointer tool, come back out here, and text, I'm just going to click out here in a white space. This is my title. And I know that's not what it says on the example. That's the point here, is just to show you how to do this. I'm going to get that on the page there and make that larger. And then make it bigger text, which you know how to do. And then I do the same thing, just put another text block out here, and this will be my text. That's going to be what I put on the page, right? So go back to my pointer tool, take this text block, put it right there. So that's how I would get the title and the text onto the page. Now let's get to the map stuff. That comes from, I'll go back to our shapes pane and make that larger. Again, if you don't see the shapes pane, if you go to view, you can choose which panes are going to show up. We want the shapes pane to be visible. So there it is. And as you look at these different stencils, there are shapes in here for things like roads. And so as we look at our example, as we go from Spokane and Seattle and Portland, these are the 3 bigger cities, there are some roads that run between them, right? Some interstates, some big roads. And so we could either put the cities first, or we could put the roads. I'll go with the roads first. Here's a flexible road. I'll take that one. It looks about right. Sort of spread this guy out. We can rotate things. You've got this rotation handle here. You also have the ability to affect the degree to which the road curves, and make it about like that. Then we had a straight highway, which more or less ran north and south here, which is I-5, I believe. So we'll make that coming up to here. It's coming down to the first city, and we'll do the next chunk of road coming down here. And what you're doing, you're just elongating the roads as necessary and adjusting the points. You can make them touch if you want to. That is not necessary, because what you're going to do next is you're going to go to the shapes for landmarks, and you'll see things like airports and train stations and parks and so on. And we also have cities in here. So I'm going to take a city, and there's one city right there. Here's another city, and we're going to put it right there, and this city right here. And that's how I got these cities onto the page, right? Now, they're labeled. You have Spokane, Washington, Seattle, Washington. And how do we label these individual cities? We zoom in just a touch here. You know how to do that too, because all you have to do to label something, go to the Home tab and just click on the text. And I believe this one was Spokane. And in the example, the text was above the city. How did we make that happen? Easy enough. Go to the text block tool, which is right here, and you move that guy up, right like that. And so you do the same thing with these other cities, with Seattle and Portland. This is a small road right here, Highway 20, where that comes from. That is if you go back to the road shapes, you'll see that there are smaller roads, you have thin roads like that. You have these interstate markers like that. We put that right there. And I believe that's Interstate 90, so that one is okay. This one is I-5 over here. So to get I-5 labeled, we would draw it, take interstate symbol out here, put it on the page, and then to change that text, what would you do? Well, you could click on the text button itself, or you could just click the shape, and hold on, let me give it to the pointer tool. Just select that, and it's I-5. I just type the number 5, and then click elsewhere. So that's essentially the creation of this shape here. Now, Washington and Oregon, those are text blocks, and what I would recommend to you when you're going to do that is just the easiest thing I think to do is zoom out to where you can see the whole page, create your own text block out here off the page, and then to get your state names there, and you can see like the italicized, it's italicized, it's larger text, etc. You can do that sort of modification to the text there, and then just place it on your page. And that's how that works. It's pretty straightforward, but I think this is a really helpful type of drawing to know how to make, because just about everybody that has a physical location where business is done could benefit from putting a map on their website, or in their brochures, or in any of their literature, their catalogs. If you want to do business with people and it's a face-to-face business, they have to know how to get there. And so the ability to create these really pretty maps, it's right there at your fingertips with Visio. So take advantage of that. I think we've covered everything. So you want to make sure like you have your name on your work. So in this example, basically you had to create this exact document. I anticipate that you guys will have that same sort of assignment as well. But that's how. If you have questions about how to do any of this, let me know. I think that you'll do great on this. Thanks for your time and attention.